Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. Today I'm reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog, another movie that doesn't suck, which in this day and age is a pretty unusual event. Sonic the Hedgehog is an interesting film because by rights you'd have thought that this is now a dead franchise. People in general haven't thought about Sonic for a very long time, so when it was announced that a movie was in the works, I was surprised. Pleasantly surprised, as Sonic really does deserve a movie. After all, they made a Mario Brothers live-action movie back in 1993, and yes, it was a colossal pile of excrement. But at least Mario got his movie. And arguably, back then, Sonic was just as popular as Mario, and a bit more edgy with his devil-may-care attitude and high-speed hijinks. Sonic was at least Mario's equal, and yet he didn't get a movie, which, seeing how the Mario Brothers movie turned out, was probably a good thing. It saved the Blue Speed King some embarrassment, but jump to 2019, 26 years after Mario made Bob Hoskins state that it was the worst movie he ever made, and now animated technology has advanced to the point where a live-action Sonic movie is child's play. Only they royally screwed up the look of the iconic Sega masterpiece, and we ended up with some kind of super anthropomorphized version of Sonic with weird small eyes and weird teeth and a weird body shape, all combined to make one creepy, weird, hard to look at, throw up in your mouth character that would have sunk the movie out of sight within moments of its release. And then came the backlash, because, believe it or not, Sonic fans haven't gone away. In fact, they are still growing with each year, and the old fans are true die-hard fans. The ones that played through the original Sonic Hedgehog and through Sonic 2, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Generations, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of Sonic games. My oldest friend has been a Sonic fan all his life and collects every outdated, obscure game in every language, regardless of whether he'll even play them, because for some reason, Sonic just means that much. And so, the director and studio said, "Okay guys, you hate this that much? Then we will fix it." And you know what? In the biggest, most heartfelt display of fan loyalty, they actually did it. Unlike those other studios and directors that say, "Fuck you," to all the fans, "I will destroy your mythos in a second." You know who you are. They actually cared. They actually lived up to their word, and you know what? It paid off. I went to see this movie as soon as ever I could, which was actually last Saturday. I know this is a very late review, but I've been sick ever since, and this has been my first real chance to make my opinions known. And don't worry, it wasn't coronavirus. It was just, normal virus. And my verdict is, hell yeah. They did it. They made a Sonic movie that did not disgrace the name. It was fun, it was wacky, it was interesting, and Sonic looked like Sonic, which was absolutely crucial. I had never heard of Jeff Fowler before, and I'm not sure what bit of luck enabled him to be the director of this movie, as it's his first major directing job, but I am very glad he was chosen. Who knows what would have happened had it been someone else? We could have been stuck with this hideous monstrosity. But luckily, that is now all in the past, and the future looks very bright once again for the well-known Hedgehog. I am already wondering, what will they do in the inevitable sequel? But enough jumping ahead. First off, I would say that the movie has Easter eggs galore. So many, in fact, that I couldn't even begin to guess how many, especially with my very limited knowledge of the franchise. But I will check in with my good friend at some point and find what else I missed. But I will say this, you have to listen and look at everything, because there is a lot going on here. It may not seem like it, but there is plenty going on. The voice acting of Ben Schwartz as Sonic is very good, and I was very glad that they hadn't gotten some very well-known celebrity to do his voice acting, as it can be distracting when you clearly hear a certain actor's voice, and then you keep seeing them instead of the character. I had this problem with Spies in Disguise. Will Smith was just too recognizable and really distracted me and kept pulling me out of the movie. Thankfully, Ben Schwartz has had a lot of voice acting experience and isn't a household name, so he was much more believable in the role. Next up, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. I cannot praise this choice enough, as if you want to hire someone to play a wacky, zany, crazy role and really get into the character both visually and thematically, then you cannot go wrong with Jim Carrey. He has the chops to bring just about any crazy character to the big screen, and he does a great Robotnik. I freely admit that I was at first slightly critical, but it was only momentary, as I am always somewhat harsh when I see a character I know well being portrayed on screen. Also, watch out for the end credit scene involving the Eggman. It's well worth seeing. And now, we have the only other main character in the movie, and that is James Marsden as Tom Wachowski, the chief of police, who Sonic has been spying on for who knows how long, and who he calls Donut Lord, because Tom has a penchant for talking to donuts. They explain it more in the film. You may know James from the failed endeavour that was Westworld, a show that I gave up on halfway through Series 2 as it just became too absurdly stupid, but here he is back at his best as a silly foil for Sonic's antics and as an object of Robotnik's ire. He does very well, and I found him very believable as the best friend of the bright blue speed demon Hedgehog. It is a role he was just born to play, and that is an accolade you don't get very often. Holy cow! I just remembered he also played Scott Summers in the X-Men movies. Well, there you go. He has had previous franchise success. Good for him. Anyway, back to the movie. And now, let's have a look at the story, which I will try not to spoil. So, firstly, it is a very, very simple story on the face of it. Sonic is forced to escape his homeworld, ends up on Earth, where he spends his life watching the people of what has become his hometown. Then, after a bit of crazy running one evening, Sonic manages to attract the attention of the very crazily evil Dr. Robotnik, who will now stop at nothing to catch what he believes is an alien, and then do horrible experiments on him. What is that you say? You think you've seen that movie? I agree. I think that we must have all seen this movie at least once every couple of years. Here, the difference is that it is Sonic the Hedgehog, the iconic Sonic the Hedgehog, arguably the most famous computer game character ever created. Argued against, specifically by Nintendo. I have to say, as far as the story goes, it's kind of forgettable at this point. Not overly interesting, though if the mid-credit cutscene is anything to go by, I think that the next movie should make for a couple of good tales. Oh shit, that was a long-winded way to try and squeeze that in. So, the question is, did I like it? And the answer is yes. Yes, I did. I really enjoyed this movie. Fairly fast-moving, fun for all the family, and finally a movie not made by Disney, which at this point has become a kind of monster greedily gobbling up everything in its path and leaving things in ruins. Goodbye, Star Wars, as it drifts over the horizon in flames. I do think the first half is better than the latter, but that doesn't hurt the movie. I also need to point out that this movie is very slightly woke, and while it's certainly noticeable, it, again, doesn't hurt the movie, and is not an issue that I would ever hold over its head in any way. So, if what you are looking for is a fun movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, and is there simply to entertain, then this is the movie for you. If what you're looking for is a fairly faithful rendering of a much-loved character, then again, this is a movie for you. If you are a butthurt studio exec that wants to destroy your fan mythos and gender-swap favourite characters while making great characters weak and pathetic, then this movie is not for you. Go check out Woke Fate or Captain Marvel, because this is a movie for the fans. This has been Movies Suck, signing out. Leave a like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.